Yes. Okay. Hi guys, and welcome back to Fit with T. I hope you guys are good. This is another video in my Sprint and ABC series, and today we're on the letter M and we're talking about max velocity running. I really hope you guys are enjoying the series. Let me know in the comment section below if you are. So in the video today, I'm going to answer 3 questions for you guys. We're going to talk about what is max velocity in the first place. What is it? What we're talking about? We're going to talk about some things that affect your max velocity running, and then we're going to talk about some training that you can do to actually develop that top speed. Okay, so let's get into it. First and foremost, what is max velocity running? Of course, I'm a sprinter athlete, and if you want the merch, link below. So it's very hard for me not to talk from a sprinter's perspective. That is so hard to say. Sprinter's perspective. Try and say that fast. It's a tongue twister. Anyway, max velocity is all about when you're at your maximum speed. That applies to any sport, so whether that's in football, rugby, whatever sport you do. But again, as a sprinter, it's going to be the part of the race where an athlete is at their top speed, right? And so if we're talking the 100 meters, usually, and again, this does vary from athlete to athlete, but in general, you would say that athletes usually hit their top speed between that 40 to 60 mark is where you're going to kind of see athletes reach their top speed, right? So for most elite male sprinters, this usually happens at around 50 to 60 meters, and for female elite sprinters that is a little bit earlier. But like I said, that's just the general guidelines. Of course, maximum velocity is going to occur after the acceleration phase. So that first 30-40 meters where you're going to see an athlete in the acceleration, they're accelerating up to their top speed, and they're going to transition into their max velocity part of the race, the upright running phase of their race, and the max velocity part of the race in particular is where they are able to maintain those top speeds. So if you haven't checked out this video, guys, I talk about the different phases of the 100 meters, then check that video out because that will help you understand a bit of what I'm talking about here as well. Acceleration, transition, max velocity, all of that good stuff. But max velocity in the most simplest terms is about being at your max velocity, being at your max speed, your top speed. So let's talk about some of the things that's going to influence your maximum velocity. So acceleration is going to influence your max velocity. If you don't go through a full acceleration, if you don't have an effective acceleration, you're not going to get up to your top speed, right? So if you haven't checked out this video, then check that video out. We'll talk about some of the things that can help you develop your acceleration. But yeah, having an effective acceleration is going to help you to get up to the top speed that you want to get to. Another thing that's going to help you to maximize your max velocity phase is actually going to be your technique, okay? So I've done quite a few videos now talking about different techniques, you know, from your arms, check out this video, or talking about your posture, having a nice tall upright posture. We've spoken about ankle stiffness, we've spoken about dorsiflexion. So all these kind of things are going to help you when it comes to your max velocity part of the race. So I'm going to link some videos for you guys at the end of this video that I think are going to be helpful for you in terms of maintaining your speed in that max velocity phase of the race, okay? Because if you get too tense, if you don't use your arms fully, if you don't get, you know, full range of motion in your leg, if you land too far in front, all of those things are going to hinder your speed, and so technique is going to play a major factor in that. So if there's anything specific that you want me to touch on with regards to technique, then let me know in the comment section below, and I will endeavor to make a video for you guys regarding that. I'm currently going through this ABC series, so I'm trying to touch on different aspects of sprinting that start with the letter according to what video I'm on. So I think I'm doing all right, guys. How do you think I'm doing so far? Anyway, no matter where you are in your journey, technique is something you can work on, that you can develop, that's going to help you to maximize your max speed at your present place, okay? But what we want to really know, and I'm sure you want to really know, is how can you develop your maximum speed? What are some sessions that you can do? So let's start off with a good old flying 30s, and I guess it could be flying anything, but I'm going to say flying 30s and then just give some examples of how you can alter the session, okay? So flying 30s, essentially what you have is set up some cones 30 meters apart. We need at least 15 meters generally to build up to any form of top speed, right? So even when you're doing your flying 30s, you kind of maybe want a 15 meter run up. Probably what you're going to need as a minimum. You'll have a 10 meter acceleration, and you're going to get into your top speed, or as close to top speed as possible. And then within that 30 meters, you're aiming to really work hard and maintain those frontside positions at a high velocity as best as you can. And then for the last 10 meters, slow down, come to a gradual cruise down, okay? So that's the idea of flying 30s, and it's really a chance to practice being relaxed at high speeds, practice those frontside positions that you might have been practicing through mini hurdles or wickets. It's a good way to implement those. It's a good way to try to develop maintaining your speed within a 30-meter distance as well. So flying 30s, you can start at a flying 10, so it could be 10 meters where you're in that max velocity phase where you're trying to hold high speeds over 10 meters, and you can increase that 10 meters. So at the beginning of a block it could be 10 meters, and then over a period of weeks or months you can try to develop that, increase that to 30 meters, and you can use that to, I guess, gauge where you are in your speed. A good fitness test to see where you are, skill related fitness, it's a good way to see where your speed is at in a flying 30 at any given point in the year. So flying 30s, and obviously as you do some of the other sessions I'm going to explain in a minute, it's a way that you're going to be able to show the progress, hopefully, that your flying 30 time has gone down, it's got better. And so yeah, another session that you can do is going to be in and out. That's what I grew up calling it. I know other people have other names for it. Let me know in the comment section below, what do you guys call in and outs? I grew up calling it in and outs. One of the most basic ways that I personally grew up doing this in my younger years was 30 meters where you are in, 30 meters where you are out, 30 meters where you are in again. So over a 90-meter period. Initially, that first in is a 30-meter acceleration, and then the out phase is, generally speaking, where you are relaxing, or probably floating is probably a better word, cruising, but not putting on any brakes, maintaining the speed that you have. Probably the best way for me to describe that for you guys. And then in is where you then go into a period of working hard again, trying to accelerate again from an upright position, so to speak. Even though we know in a race you cannot really accelerate twice, but that is the idea of an in and out session, teaching your body to be able to switch on speed, to be able to maintain and to manage speeds at high velocities, and then get used to expressing speed that way, get used to those feelings and applying force in that kind of way, coordinating your body together to be able to actually work at those levels. So in and out actually can be over any distance, really and truly. That's the concept of in and outs. And like I said, I gave you guys an example of a 90 meters where you've got 30 meters, 30 meters, 30 meters. However, generally speaking, we can hold that top speed for around 10 to 30 meters. So if the purpose of the session is to develop maximum speeds, to train at maximum speeds, then we're going to need to work over 40 to 70 meters. Those are kind of the range of distances that we're going to be able to maintain speeds at the high levels that we need to be able to actually develop speed. Because the reality is that if we're not training close to that 100%, we're not really teaching our body to be able to run that fast and therefore get faster. You can work in and out if you have other aims, practicing front-hand mechanic, practicing the relaxation while you're sprinting and all those kind of things. They're beneficial in that way. But for the purpose of actually getting faster, then 40 to 70 meters at the overall distance is probably the range that you want to work in. If we pull it back, then at a starting phase, you may not start over a 70-meter distance. You may want to begin as little as 15 meters to build up, and then a 10, 10, 10. You know, then you may want to actually build that up slowly. So that could be a case where you may want to increase acceleration if you need to. So you could have 20-meter acceleration, 10 meters, 10 meters, 10 meters. You could have 20-meter acceleration, 20 meters in, 20 meters out. To be fair, some people say it a little bit different. As I said, I grew up, the in was just where you're working hard. If you are counting the acceleration phase as part of the in, then what you can actually have is 20 meters in, 20 meters where you are at max velocity, but you're not trying to force any more work. You're just floating. And then 20 meters when you're in again. If we went 20, 20, 20, that's another way of doing a 60. The idea is that you can play with the distances according to level of fitness, where you are in the program. Remember, if you're sprinting is very hard work, it's very intense, and therefore you want to make sure your body's in a position where it can actually handle high speed. You don't want to be doing these kind of sessions when you're not robust enough to handle it. Your level of fitness, your strength and your conditioning is not up to scratch, so that your body is not going to break down and get injured. So you want to make sure that you are in a position that your body can handle it before you go in to do any of these kind of sessions, right, where you're trying to develop speed or increase your speed or work at these very, very high levels. So in and out, I've given different examples. Hopefully they're helpful. There's different ways to work it, but the idea, hopefully you guys get the idea. So the last example of a type of session that you can do to actually develop your speed, to work on max velocity, it's actually one of my favorites, and I haven't been able to do it for ages now. And actually making this video let me see how much I haven't done this type of training, or haven't actually got around to doing it for different types of reasons. If you care about my journey, then you can check out my vlogs, guys. But yeah, overspeed. Overspeed is another way that you can actually train your body to increase its speed. The idea of overspeed, if you're not familiar with the term, is basically training your body at speeds that you wouldn't necessarily normally be able to produce by yourself, by using different tools or environments that actually help you do that. So for example, running downhill, so not a steep decline but a gradual decline hill, that's going to be a way to actually develop overspeed. Because of the force of gravity, because you're running downhill, your legs have to move quicker than you would naturally move in and of yourself, and therefore train your body to be able to actually turn your legs at that speed and know what to do at those speeds, so that potentially when you go back onto a flat surface, you're able to replicate those movements. So you could actually combine a session where you do overspeed, so some runs down a hill. If you have any like slopes or hills near your facility, like we have some hills around our track, so we can do that, right? And then you can actually go back onto the track now, maybe do some flying 30s, for example, to confirm what you've done down the hill, if that makes sense. Other ways that you can do this is using tools such as a 1080 or a bungee if you have access to those. Overspeed is great, but again, you have to really be in a position where your body can handle such high speed. Also, it can be quite difficult to do these kind of sessions because if you don't have the tools, if you don't have the resources, if you don't have the environments that allows you to do it, it can be quite difficult to implement. So making use of overspeed can be difficult, but these are again some ways that you can actually implement training for maximum speed to increase your top speed. Okay, so I really hope this video has been helpful for you guys. Let me know in the comment section below, like I said before, what do you guys do to develop your speed? What are your favorite max velocity sessions? Do you do any of these kind of sessions? And let me know specific examples that you actually do in your session. That'll be really helpful for me and for others. If you like the video, guys, please give it a big thumbs up to help me accelerate my channel, to let the algorithm know and so that more athletes like you can see this video. And if you haven't checked out this video about frontside mechanics, I think that'll be another good video to watch, or this video about ankle stiffness, then check those videos out next, and I'll see you guys on another Friday. Bye guys. Sprinter's perspective, I can't say it. Anyway.